影のカラスがゆ
ガンオーテイ君のために
歌よ錦
A lot of people don't think twice about this, but team builds actually make up a sizable amount of your damage potential. And no, we're not sticking Venti and Bennett in every team and calling it a day, because believe it or not, those characters aren't actually great with Hu Tao. So stick with me and I'm going to walk you through the best Hu Tao teams with some insane budget builds as well. So regardless of what characters you have right now, you'll be able to immediately build one of these teams and output some explosive DPS. If you guys don't know me, I'm Concept2G and I'm pretty much the team build guy that keeps showing up on your recommended. I have team build videos for pretty much any character you can think of, so if you find any of my content helpful, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it. Your support helps keep this series going and allows me to make more content in general for all of you guys. As a quick side note, this is the person who won the battle pass from my last video. Make sure you like and comment for a chance to win for this video. Good luck! A big playstyle change for Hu Tao compared to some of the other pyro carries is her reliance on maintaining her health below the 50% threshold for maximum damage potential. This is all due to her P4 giving her 33% pyro boost at below 30% HP. This actually restricts what characters we can play with her. Obviously dying is not optimal, but overhealing isn't either. She also deals 30% HP to herself every time you use her E, and while this technically can't kill you, it softens you up so that if you take big hits from your enemies, you're going to die faster than you expect. I have a Hu Tao build guide coming later this week where we will go more in depth on everything. Let's talk about reactions, and when I say that all elemental reactions are good for her, I mean it. You'll quickly learn that the majority of her potency comes from her ability to proc many reactions at once. If we had to prioritize them, it would be Vaporize, then Melt, then Overload. Note that she not only relies on pyro reactions, but Electrocharge and Freeze are also extremely important for her. We'll talk about that in the team comp section. For Resonance, I like a few, however with most teams, since you're trying to proc a lot of reactions at once, you rarely get the luxury of Resonance. Pyro Resonance is great for a flat buff, which is welcome especially due to Hu Tao's low base attack. Cryo Resonance is also another interesting take, allowing you to stack more crit damage in your artifacts. Lastly, Electro Resonance may seem bad on paper, but it actually puts in work and allows you to burst spam super frequently. It's good in niche situations. These are the best team builds for Hu Tao. I've listed team builds as Abyss ready if I think it's something you can plug and play in Abyss. Note that not all of these teams have bona fide healers, but that doesn't mean that they can't be played in Abyss. I'll explain more on that when we get there. Also, I notably left out Animo characters in my teams. This is because Hu Tao excels in single target damage, which is the strength we want to really accentuate when we build around her. Note that especially with how the endgame content is set up right now, single target DPS is preferable over AoE burst damage. Team 1 features Hu Tao, Fischl or Beidou, Xingqiu, and Zhongli. This is my best in slot for Hu Tao DPS. Xingqiu is the bona fide best sub DPS for Hu Tao. He helps to proc Vaporize with Hu Tao consistently, but the reason he's so good is because he plays so well with your Electro supports. Few players know this, but when you proc Electrocharge, it applies the Electro and Hydro aura, which allows you to not only get Electrocharge reaction damage, but it also allows you to simultaneously proc Overload and Vaporize. This means that at any given point, you can be proccing 3 elemental reactions at once. C6 Fischl abuses this so much along with Hu Tao's attacks, constantly applying Pyro, then Hydro from Xingqiu's burst. Finally, Zhongli is in here for ridiculous elemental resistance shred you get, which greatly amplifies not only Hu Tao's damage, but the Electro and Hydro damage coming from your 2 sub DPS characters. Zhongli's Petrify is also great to counteract the blowback from the Overload reaction. This is really important because you spend less time chasing enemies down, and sometimes Overload blows your enemies outside of Oz's range, meaning you miss out on a lot of potential damage. Now you might be fuming at me for not having a healer in here, but it's not needed. You have enough healing and resistances from Xingqiu, and Zhongli provides you with an insane shield to make sure you don't take too much outside damage. If you play Beidou over Fischl, you sacrifice a little bit of damage for more resistance, and Hu Tao's ult will serve as your safety net if you fall too low for comfort. Remember, we don't want to full heal. We want to stay below 50% HP at all times, which means burst healing is so bad for Hu Tao. Now your next complaint will be the fact that Hu Tao's E can kill herself, but it's actually impossible. Activating E takes 30% of your current health, so even if you have 1 HP left, the E takes only 30% of that 1 HP. Not that you should be even getting that low with this team anyways. If you play this team comp correctly, you will never have a problem with your Hu Tao dying. And if you still don't believe me, it's time for you to wake up because classic healers are no longer an absolute necessity with how the game has shifted. Team 2 features Hu Tao, Xingqiu, Fischl or Beidou, and Diona. This team comp is very similar to our best in slot. It's for people who don't have or play Zhongli. The playstyle is exactly the same, and Diona is more beginner friendly in the manner that you have a solid heal whenever you need it. Whereas Team 1 forces you to play relatively perfectly, you can make a lot of mistakes with this team and have Diona's burst as a crutch. Diona's burst also doesn't tick that fast, which allows you to control how much HP you are at any point. You open up the potential to proc freeze as well, which is very useful in a lot of situations, especially against the bigger bosses. Team 3 features Hu Tao, Chongyun or Ganyu, Xingqiu, and Diona. This team focuses on the ability to proc freeze, with melt and vaporize as your main damage source. Double cryo resonance allows you to forego some crit rate in your build in favor of more crit damage. Remember that Hu Tao also gives you some crit rate as well. Chongyun C2 pairs so well with Hu Tao and Xingqiu combo since the ice field doesn't override the pyro source from your E, and the extra E and Q cooldown allows you more uptime on your combos. You just get free attack speed, which will allow you to proc more reactions. Chongyun's burst also allows you to proc melt up to 3 times, 1 for each sword, meaning he actually puts in a lot of burst DPS as well. Diona is your shielder and her heal ticks slow enough so that you can control how much HP you need. Team 4 features Hu Tao, Beidou, Xingqiu, and Fischl. This team makes use of the Electro Resonance so that you can perma-spam your burst. As we've explained, Electro Charge opens the door for us to proc Overload often, which means we're getting a lot of value out of the Electro Resonance. The particles we generate will fuel our ability to keep our Xingqiu and Beidou bursts up 24/7, giving your Hu Tao a lot of resistance and passive healing. It's also a lot of damage that you constantly have at one time that you don't have to worry about switching on and off characters. I do believe this comp is also good to go without a healer, but you'll take a bit more damage than if you were playing Team 1 or 2. However, with the extra energy, you can expect to spam Hu Tao's ult a lot more, meaning you get actually a lot more HP recovery from that source. By the way, if you don't have Xingqiu at all, or don't like playing him in this comp or any of the other mentioned comps, you can play Mona instead. That's perfectly fine. However, I think Xingqiu gives you much more value because of his swords and the way it scales with Hu Tao's attack speed. Team 5 features Hu Tao, Kaya, Xiangling, and Diona. If you don't have access to Xingqiu or Mona, you can look to play a team like this. Kaya is a great support for Hu Tao and allows you multiple melt procs. Xiangling, especially at C6, gives your Hu Tao a large pyro buff. Even if your Hu Tao spells are down, you can look at Kaya's burst and Xiangling's burst in conjunction while your Hu Tao basic attacks. If you don't want to play Kaya and you have Ganyu, I think Ganyu works really well here too. Cryo Resonance means extra crit rate, and Diona brings you everything you need in terms of resistance and sustain. Team 6 is my free-to-play and features Hu Tao, Kaya, Xiangling, and Barbara. This is similar to Team 5, we're simply replacing Diona with Barbara, which we all get for free anyways. Barbara at C6 is a great poor man's Hu Tao C6. Barbara's E also heals decently slowly, which gives you the ability to stay below the 50% threshold. Kaya and Xiangling to fill in for Pyro Resonance and Melt damage. Note that you have to be careful with playing Barbara, especially against cryo enemies, and you should have Thrilling Tales on your Barbara so you can get the free buff. Also, you shouldn't panic use your Barbara ult unless you're really close to dying. Barbara's burst heals a lot, and you again don't want to heal more than 50% of your total HP on Hu Tao. You'll notice with this team build video, we actually didn't separate the whale builds, so to speak, with a bunch of 5 stars, and then the budget builds. That's because Hu Tao is very free to play and budget friendly. Her supports, her best supports, are often all 4 stars, so you can have Hu Tao and no other 5 star and still play one of the best teams possible. This makes Hu Tao very attractive, and if you're still considering rolling her or waiting and you need a main DPS and you're a budget player, Hu Tao is definitely a must get. Hu Tao is an amazing single target DPS, and her lightning quick attacks will allow her to pull off some crazy elemental reactions simultaneously. I think it's finally time that we have a character to power creep our old powerhouse pyro DPS characters. In my opinion, she's also a lot more fun to play and has a higher skill ceiling than those two. Again, if you made it this far, thank you so much for staying, and I hope this video was helpful for you. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for much more. Thanks for watching, till next time.